So tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., I have a phone meeting with a company called Responsive Ed. Responsive Ed was brought on for K-12, and I don't know if it's just for K-12 through Texas or for other parts of the states. I really don't know. Anyway, they were brought on to help increase the scores for STAR testing. Texas Virtual Academies is currently not meeting the standards where the state of Texas would like them to be as far as the STAR scores. Well, this meeting that I'm having tomorrow is whether or not they will expel my daughter, which is the most ridiculous thing I have heard of. My daughter is an A and B student, but doesn't test well and never has. And as much as we give her positivity and as much as we can do, we do for her. She is our only child, and she is loved and cared for and doesn't deserve this. She's also in what's called small groups. Now, the reason why they want to expel her is because she was not attending these small groups at the beginning of the year. And the reason that she was not attending these small groups, which these small groups are for kids who need a little extra help in certain subjects, and they put her in for reading and math. And the reason why they put her in the small groups is because she didn't test well in STAR. Now, she was also part of these small groups last year. And I'm here to tell you, they didn't help. She was only put into the small groups for like a semester, but because she had done so well, they said that she no longer needed it. And so at the beginning of the year, she was not attending these small groups because my daughter was diagnosed with vertigo. And we were figuring out that it was a little too much screen time. And so I had to modify her Class Connect sessions. Now, Class Connect session for K-12 is they have science, math, ELA, English Language Arts, and one other subject. Anyway, and there was times she couldn't attend those classes, the regular classes, because of the vertigo. And there was times that she couldn't attend the small groups because of the vertigo. Now, I've had my daughter in the emergency room multiple times. I've had her seeing her regular physician. She's been to see a neurologist. She's had an MRI and to see an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And the last thing that we're having to do is see an ophthalmologist just to make sure her eyes are okay. Now, the MRI came back normal. Thank the good Lord for that. But here's the thing, is that my daughter is being punished for something that she has no control over. And from what I hear is Responsive Ed doesn't give a crap about your students. All they care about is the money that they're getting and the business part of it. They don't give a rat's ass about your kids. And it all comes down, what it comes down to is that STAR testing, these standardized testings, we should not even have our kids taking these things. It's ridiculous. What happened to, oh yeah, you got A's and B's, you're doing great here, you know, da-da-da-da. What happened to that? These standardized testings need to go away. I am tired of my daughter suffering because she's doing the best that she can, and a test is put in front of her and she freezes. And we've done everything we can. We've, tried, positivity. We've tried just, saying that she's going to do well. Just take your time. She is our one and only, and all we want for her is to succeed. And this Responsive Ed, they don't care about succession. They just care about the money, and they don't care whether your child is limping around on one leg. And I'm to the point of, that's ridiculous. My child has something that's serious. And I know a lot of people have it, but she's 13, and she should be having to deal with this at 13 as far as this vertigo. But this is something that's happened, and there's nothing I can do about it except, medically just give her medicine when it happens and do what I can. I've actually had one of the K-12 moms through TXVA tell me, well, why didn't you just take the classes for her? That's not my responsibility. That's not how she learns. She learns when she takes the classes. And I get where she was coming from, but here's the problem, is that with these small groups, you need to be participating. And when my child is sitting up in her room and the room is spinning and she can barely see, is my mind on these small groups? Absolutely not. I'm a parent who loves their child, and their health and well-being is more important than anything in the world. Now, of course, her education is just as important, but, you know, sometimes it's like health comes first and then education. But they're, you know, right underneath one another. I'm doing this video because of the fact that my daughter is being treated unfairly through responsive ed, and they don't care. I'm doing this video because Textual's Virtual Academies, there's very concerned that they may have to close down due to the fact that their STAR testing is not where the state of Texas would like them to be. I have contacted as many people government-wise about the STAR testing, and it needs to stop. The standardized testing needs to stop. We're always in competition with some other country, you know, but here's the thing, is our kids are smart. But you know something? The more pressure you put on them, the worse they're going to do. When you're having them go to class Monday through Friday and then like, oh, well, your STAR testing is not good enough, and now you have to go to Saturday class, and so let's say she goes to that Saturday class, and it doesn't help. So they're going to what? Make her still go to these Saturday classes? That's ridiculous. You know, this is what these small groups were supposed to do, and apparently they did not work out, but they're still doing them. I just want everybody to please just say a prayer, send us some good vibes. I'm hoping that this goes viral because of the fact that it needs to. Standardized testing needs to stop. It is not helping our children. It is just making them worse. Not every child tests well, and the standardized testing doesn't account for that. It only accounts for every single child, no matter where they're at. No matter whether they test well, no matter if they don't test well, or they're in that nice little medium area. My daughter is in 8th grade this year, and she needs to pass these STAR tests in order to graduate. Now, I have spoken to somebody else, and if she doesn't pass for 8th grade, I have a meeting with some board members or something of that sort to discuss if Chloe should be passed on to 9th grade. They look at her attendance, what she hasn't missed any days. She hasn't missed any days attendance-wise because of the fact that we still do the work, even if it's into the evening time and the vertigo is slowly coming down. I still have her do some work. It may not be as much as they would like for her to do on that day, but we always make up for it. And obviously, because of the fact that she is getting A's and B's, that just shows right there that she's a smart kid. She just tests not great. She's just a nervous test taker. So anyway, I would meet with some board members, and they would look at her attendance, they would look at her grades, they would look at a lot of different things to see if they would pass her on to 9th grade. This should never be the case. If a child is doing well in school and learning, isn't that all that matters? Why should some standardized test tell me or my child how well she's doing? Why should that be the one and only thing? Why should a test, why should a standardized test tell me or my child how well she's doing in school? She does well in school. She's a good kid. She doesn't cause trouble. And I will say, most 13-year-olds out there today going to the brick and mortar schools, they're coming back with attitudes because they're hanging out with other kids and they're cursing and have no respect for their parents or anything like that. My child is truly blessed. I'm able to stay home while my husband works and educate my child. My husband and I must be doing something right because of her grades. This is very upsetting to me. My child does not deserve this at all. She's a good kid who gets great grades and doesn't cause trouble and doesn't talk back and respects her parents and respects everyone around her. She has a wonderful heart and does not deserve this. It's time for the system to change. It is time for a change. I don't want my child going through this. So I would very much like everybody to please, please share this video with everyone you know, because I know there's other parents out there that feel the same exact way I do. And we're so frustrated because of the fact that we don't know what else to do. The only thing we care about is our kids, their well-being, and their education. But if these standardized testings continue, our children are not going to do well. It's too much. And especially now with them wanting to send my child to a Saturday school and going to school 6 days a week. Enough. It's not going to make the situation better. It's going to make it worse. Our kids are going to be stressed. They're not going to want to do the work. And it's just not going to be good all around. So please share this video with everyone that you know, because I know that somebody out there knows a parent who's going through this, and things need to change. The government needs to back off when it comes to our kids' education. The government wasn't there during conception, and they're not here raising my child. They are just getting in the way. Standardized testing needs to stop. Period. Thanks for listening.